What's going on, guys? We got the My Hero Academia chapter 423 spoiler leaks, and looks like the battle is finally over. But real quick, I just wanted to apologize about my voice. I got hit with some sort of sickness last night and it's really beating the crap out of me. But I wanted to go ahead and do a video about this because I do love My Hero, even though it has a lot of flaws, which I am making a separate video where I explain, what's great about it, but what's also bad about it because it does have its flaws. Anyways, let's get into these leaks. So the title of the chapter is One for All versus All for One. The chapter begins with All for One saying that he found it weird that the regeneration was a healing in his body. In addition to that, each hero's hostility came together to confuse Danger Sense and hide Deku's presence. So that's a pretty good tactic from everybody. They all have malicious intentions towards him, so his Danger Sense is going to be firing off in every direction, not knowing which direction is actually Deku. Pretty good tactic from these guys. This shows that his body is exhausted and his mental state has never been worse due to Yoichi's death. Deku remembers All Might saying that One for All would make a weak body explode and tells All for One that he directly received the power cultivated by non-users. All for One's body begins to crumble and some heroes think that the fight is over, but All for One uses various quirks to keep himself together. He says that he hasn't achieved anything yet and that he can't die because the Demon Lord is absolute and he has to fulfill his dream. He says that he just has to start all over again like he did with Shigaraki. In other words, he just needs to transfer the All for One quirk to Midoriya or some other hero and take over their body. He then approaches Deku, but Kurogiri moves. Mike shouts, "Shirakumo," and he replies, "Shota, Yamada, I'm sorry, but I have to go. I need to protect Tamura Shigaraki." He opens a portal between Deku and All for One, and Mike cries, saying that Shirakumo always reaches out to those who need help. Shirakumo says, "All for One, give Shigaraki back. His friends are waiting for him." Kurogiri starts to disappear, but at the last second, Bakugo appears and propels Deku with his explosions. Mike says that he should be in the hospital, but he flew there with his quirk. So I had to pull up the paneling because I was a little confused on the verbiage there, and it looks like All for One was keeping himself together with all those quirks and is going back in at Deku. And then Deku also going back towards All for One. But that's when Kurogiri opens the portal between them. As for the Bakugo thing, it looks like Deku's punching the portal or something along those lines, but then that's when Bakugo shows up, does an explosion, and then grabs Deku. Bakugo says that Shoto made an ice ramp for him to get up there. "Be careful or else I'll end up surpassing you, Izuku." So calling him by his name again, no more calling him Deku. That's pretty great to see the development and how far along Bakugo has come since the beginning. Deku says that he'll never forgive All for One, but that he's not an incomprehensible monster or a demon lord. Deep down, he's just a very lonely man. So we're getting some Naruto style Taku no Jutsu, and I just want to say this is one of the things that I'm not really liking right now. He's trying to humanize, this obvious villain. He's killed so many people. He's done so many things wrong. Just let him be a villain. Don't try to bring him down to earth. He's a bad guy. That's just what he is. Let's not try to sympathize with him and make him something else other than what he is, which is a very terrible person. We then see All for One talking to a flame that represents Yoichi. He says that Midoriya's last punch transferred the last ember of One for All. That is, the last fragments of Yoichi. The quirk itself. All for One says he doesn't care about that, he just wants to see Yoichi's face. Yoichi says that he failed to take his brother in the right direction, but now Midoriya is allowing both brothers to rest. All for One starts shouting, saying that he won't allow it, that he loves Yoichi and he needs him by his side. Yoichi says that it's time for All for One to pay for the crime of using so many people and that they're not alone in there. Next we see all the One for All users plus Shigaraki coming out of shadows, and a full page of Deku and Tamura punching All for One's vestige. The vestige disappears and Deku and Tamura's hands touch. Tamura says that he thought he had been completely swallowed by All for One this time, but Nana's vestige connected with him and prevented him from disappearing. He then says Kurogiri, and we see the last bits of him. He says that even though he briefly got his body back, he didn't manage to destroy anything. Midoriya was right. Deep inside, he was just a crying boy, and that's why he couldn't destroy Deku's hands. Deku says that he continued to fight because he couldn't forgive what Shigaraki had done, but also because he wanted him to stop. He wanted the sadness to be over. Izuku Midoriya, if Spinner is still alive, tell him this. Tamura Shigaraki fought to destroy it until the very end. So I kind of like those last words coming from him, and I do hope that that's something that they pass along to Spinner and the rest of the league that's alive. Hopefully these guys do get put in jail and they're not sympathized with as well, and they're allowed to roam free or something, because that seems to be something that might happen. They may serve a little bit of jail time and then they're out and about again. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, those last words are pretty cool. Tell him that I fought to destroy everything until the end. That's, I mean, I do like that. I also like that Shigaraki is disappearing here and is dying, and he's gone for good is what I'm hoping. So there was a theory going that he would turn, that Deku would talk no jutsu him into being on their side, kind of like Obito and Naruto. And I was just hoping that this wasn't the case, and it looks like, you know, that isn't the case here. That's great. I don't want him to switch sides and be a good guy. I really wanted him to finish All For One himself, and then it be Deku versus Shigaraki. But I mean, this is fine too. And I mean, it's great that he is dying here and not gaining a second chance to be a good guy. I think he's done too much to be redeemed. Maybe that's just me. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind. But right now, I mean, I'm happy with this ending for Shigaraki. Deku says he managed to destroy what he really needed to. The last page goes back to the real world and reveals that Shigaraki's body had been completely destroyed and turned into dust. The rain had finally stopped and the sun was shining. End of chapter. Break next week. So yeah, that's the end, and I'm not unhappy with it. I know we're gonna get some conclusion chapters after this, seeing how everybody is, seeing if anybody survives, seeing, you know, what happens to the rest of the league and stuff like that. And again, I hope that they don't get like sympathized with and get a second chance, because these guys are bad guys. They've done bad things. I think they deserve the jail time, and then, you know, let it just be that. I don't see how Dobby could still be alive. I hope he's not. I think that's an ass pull if he is. As for the rest of the league, you know, again, hopefully they're putting jail. And then if this is the ending for Deku, where he doesn't get his powers, I mean, it does come full circle for him being quirkless again, but I don't like that taste. You know, it's kind of bitter. I feel like he worked so hard to learn how to control One For All and to be a hero, and this is something he wanted, and he got his chance. He did his job. He defeated Shigaraki and All For One. That's great. But I just feel like it sucks for him personally to not have superpowers anymore and to be a hero like he had wanted since childhood. So I'm hoping we do get some sort of something back. Maybe Eri can rewind him and he gets all of the users back, or maybe he just gets just a regular One For All power up and he starts from scratch. That would be kind of cool, and that would kind of go full circle if he starts, like if it starts over again and he's now the first user of One For All and he gets to pass that torch and it starts a whole new cycle. That would be pretty cool. We'll see. But what did you guys think of this chapter? How do you feel about Shigaraki's end? How do you feel about Deku being quirkless? How do you feel about All For One being gone finally for good? Real quick, also I wanted to say, you know, there's other people who review spoiler leaks on YouTube, so I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for watching this video and being here with me. I'm pretty new at it, so I'm not as good as the other ones, but I'm gonna get there, and I just wanted to thank you guys for your support. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and thank you guys.